Join the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra for Regeneration with Canopy Dance. Explore music and movement as Canopy Dance Company joins the orchestra on stage. The evening will feature 3 world premieres, 2 local composers, and a piece by a Grammy-nominated composer. Join the WCO on Friday, February 27th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are available at wcoconcerts.org/regeneration. Clear your calendar for March 20th and get ready to party for a purpose. Toto's Gala returns to Monona Terrace for a one-night fundraising celebration supporting Dane County Humane Society and the animals who count on them. Enjoy incredible food, flowing drinks, inspiring stories, and yes, adorable animals. Grab your friends, dress to impress, and be part of a night where fun and giving go hand in hand, coming together for good. Tickets are on sale now, and RSVPs close March 6th. Get your tickets today at giveshelter.org/Toto. This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. It's Thursday, so of course it's time to dish on Madison's food and bar scene. There is big news in town, and that's that the Madison Museum of Contemporary Art on State Street is getting a new restaurant. And an absolute culinary star will be its head chef, Elena Terry, Ho-Chunk Nation member, founder of the nonprofit Wildberries, and a guest/contestant on multiple food television shows. Chef Terry will be running tall grass on the State Street level of Momoka. She is here with me now. Elena, hello.
Hello. Wonderful to be here.
Oh my gosh. People are buzzing about tall grass, and we have been looking forward to getting you on the show. Thank you for making the time. And, I know it's a few months out before the opening, but what can you tell us about the forthcoming tall grass?
I am so excited for this restaurant to be opening. And you mentioned it's facing State Street, right? Like, what a beautiful spot to be in, an incredible building and space. Tallgrass is really going to be about bringing community in and celebrating. It's pretty amazing culinary arts, right? And in this space, the contribution that I can have as a community member, but also as a chef who really has made an investment in my craft and in myself in that craft. And I just have been waiting for an opportunity to be able to share some of that with my community. So Tallgrass is going to give us that opportunity.
Oh my gosh. It's not every day that a gal gets to talk to a celebrity chef. And one with such local roots. You've been on Top Chef, Chopped, Barbecue Brawl, just crushing it and representing, doing our region proud. And so I know that people are really excited that you are going to lend your talents to the city. Like, I love hearing that's exactly how you describe, like, this is this opportunity and moment for you who your craft is so developed. So we're stoked. Can you talk about, do you have any hopes for tall grass in terms of how it might fit into the Madison scene? Like, what are you trying to bring? And yeah, just give us a taste.
With Tallgrass, I really want to bring something that's like a curated experience, but also I want it to be accessible. So we will be opening Tallgrass in phases to accommodate the logistical things that I have to figure out for this space, which is, it's a lot being in the museum. Even the fire suppression system is ultra sensitive to particulates. So all of the cooking has to be done on the 3rd floor of the museum and then have the food brought to the 1st floor to be able to have it served. So we are starting with specialty pastries, cafe kind of style in the morning for grab and goes. And we really want it to be accessible for people either at the Capitol or at the university. Foot traffic, we really want to bring people into this space. So I've had a really exciting time. I'm in recipe development right now and just trying to find ways to include indigenous ingredients into traditional pastries or, baked goods, which is the food science part of that I absolutely love. So that'll be the beginning of it. We also will have lunch starting at the beginning with specialty salads, smoothies, we'll have coffee. In the evening, the focus is really going to be on a beautiful bar that's going to be built and having like craft cocktails, specialty drinks, and highlighting local producers.
This is so, so exciting. Honestly, that is a perfect, fantastic spot right there. And am I understanding this right? You guys are aiming to open around art fair on the square. Like, there are no guarantees. We know how it goes.
Yes. That's my dream.
Yeah.
In the perfect world, we'll be open in kind of around that same time as art fair on the square. I really want to be able to participate in things that happen in the capital area in the summertime. And so we're shooting for that. It's all based on the construction. Like, we don't have to build the building, but we really do have to make sure that like sinks and water lines and stuff are run correctly through this like incredible structure that we have. So if everything flows smoothly, that's what our goal is.
Yeah, when you mentioned having to bring the food down from the third floor because of the particulate matter and cooking, that sounds like logistics that need to be worked out. So absolutely go in phases.
Yes.
That's really smart. Also, I say this a lot on the podcast, but if this is someone's first time listening, I worked at Momoka as a gallery attendant, and I would sit and look across the street at the cafes dreaming of a scone.
Yes.
Dreaming of a scone on the first floor. And the idea that now what was formerly the gift shop is going to be this space to get really, well thought out, tasty, local food is an exciting moment. And one thing that I'm excited to talk to you about is celebrating and honoring indigeneity. What role do you see Tallgrass having in sharing and preserving Ho-Chunk food culture?
I mean, as a Ho-Chunk woman who's a chef, I'm already facing some of these minority places. And I don't really like to look at myself with any type of label, but I will absolutely own the fact that I am in Daejeop, like in this very sacred area, and we are opening a restaurant that really is geared at bringing community and celebrating the arts, right? Like, that in itself is absolutely fantastic. But to be able to do something, we've really been looking for years, like over 2 years, for a brick and mortar space that would, one, allow me to be Chef Elena Terry without boundaries, where I can really focus on, like, I am a chef first. I love including Indigenous ingredients in my cooking. When I go to tribal communities, I absolutely solely focus on Indigenous ingredients and traditional foodways. But when I'm in my greater community, I don't want to put a strain on some sourcing of ingredients that I would really want to have my community have first, because there are people in my community who haven't had a hand harvested wild rice before even, and you would think that it's something that is abundant in our communities, but it isn't. So food coming back to us is really like this wonderful wave of reclamation, and I want to be mindful of how I source my ingredients for something like Tallgrass, which is going to be a restaurant serving a much larger amount of people. So we are going to have a lot of focus on farm to table, local sourcing, producers, and then we are going to supplement with Indigenous ingredients when I'm able to have enough of them to do that with. So I really want to be mindful of, absolutely, I want to share, and it's just who I am, right? It will be in the food. There will be ingredients that I love and I celebrate in the recipes and in the dishes, but it won't be the primary focus. It will be kind of like an experience, something that will be just adding more to your experience rather than having it be like, this is decolonized, because that's just not how I cook.
Multi-dimensional. Let's talk about it. You're multi-dimensional, and you are trained in so many different culinary arts. So having it to be just one focus, like you said, you don't want to be bound. You want to be all of who you are. And so having this space, that makes a lot of sense. And I'd also, you kind of mentioned it, there's something else that you're doing, which is, as founder of Wild Berries, you're bringing ancestral foods to Native communities. And I feel like I don't want to just move past that. Can you share a little bit about that work and how you are sharing your talents with our area?
Absolutely. So Wild Berries is a community outreach nonprofit that I founded with my daughter and a few other women in my tribe. Really, it ultimately was founded to support food as medicine in that philosophy. But when we are acknowledging we're part, like a crucial part of that equation, like absolutely food has nutritional values, there's medicinal properties in it. But if we're not the activator to that, it just exists, right? Like we need to engage with our food. We need to be more mindful when we eat. We don't just like go to the grocery store and grab something off the shelf and assume that's where it came from. So with Wild Berries, we really wanted to connect people who were overcoming alcohol and other drug issues or emotional trauma in our community to our community again from this disconnect, and do it by sharing a meal with each other. So that's kind of where all of this started. It is a culinary mentorship program for me. Like I've been in restaurants and a chef for, I don't even know, at least 20 years, 15, 20 years. And when it really came down to it, I had to take a look at myself and say, how am I contributing to my community? I'm not just going to work and coming home and being isolated, but what can I do to support people in my community? Like, how do I honor that I am a member of a tribe? And what does that mean to me? And that's really how we formed Wild Berries, because like I can do something to help. And if it's this, then I'm in. Like count me in. I'll show up every time to cook with my community. And so it really started that way. And then it became more educational outreach and really saying like, I can't continue doing my work unless we're supporting the ecologists, the farmers, all of these other people in the food system have to be honored as well. And so it was really taking a holistic look at our food system and really like how we contribute to that as humans. And so, yeah, that's where the work began.
There's so much that is warming my heart and lighting my spirit from what you just shared. Food is love. And even that you started it with your daughter and talking about being a part of a tribe. Something I think about all the time was when I learned about the 7 generations principle and how it's an indigenous idea that you should be thinking about 7 generations ahead with your actions and what you eat and how you speak. And I think that's just really missing these days. At least I'm like begging and hoping other people understand that principle.
Yeah, because we also have to look at 7 generations behind, right? Because they thought of us. We wouldn't have the food we have today if they weren't thinking of us. We wouldn't have had our ancestral corn if our ancestors didn't save those seeds, or during these removals make sure that they brought them with them so that they were alongside us. Like our foods were a part of our community, of our daily life, and we honored them differently, our ancestors did. So it's, taking a minute and saying, what can I do in this moment to be that good ancestor for the future?
I think having that relationship with local sourcing of the food that you're eating is something that Madison really honors. It's something that you share that you really honor. And I think it's also typically healthier for you. You're getting nutrients, like you said, you pointed out at the beginning, like if you're just taking a can off the shelf, you don't necessarily know how much nourishment you're getting in that moment.
Yes.
Madison, meet your new secret weapon, TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit officially launched in our city last June, and Madisonians are already using TaskRabbit services to make their lives easier. And I know that's true because I have used TaskRabbit on numerous occasions, particularly for moving and setting up my place. From furniture assembly to painting, they've got a tasker for that. Simply download the app, describe your needed task, and browse profiles of skilled neighbors who can help you today. And you know what else is a huge plus? Their transparent pricing. You'll see the hourly rate upfront, which includes the tasker's rate and the service fee, so there are no surprises at checkout. And you can decide what works for you and what you're willing to pay. So what are you waiting for? Find your first tasker today at taskrabbit.com or on the app. Can you tell us a little more about the ho chunk ingredients that will be on the menu and how you're thinking about sourcing them?
With Ho Chunk, we are still, I don't want to be negative, but we are still building an agricultural division in our tribe where some tribes in the state of Wisconsin have bison farms and very prolific growing situations, aquaponics. We are just getting established. I think we have grown maybe 2, 3 significant years with under a Department of Agriculture for the Ho Chunk Nation. So as a tribe, we're not really producing enough yet to distribute throughout our community. That being said, I mean, we are regionally in this woodland area, right? And it's the restaurant is named Tallgrass because it is honoring the ecosystem that used to be in this area, which is like the tallgrass prairie, and it kind of ends right here in Dajope. It's also honoring the foods that were traditionally in this space, like blueberries are one of them, or cranberries, or the wild rice that used to exist in the lakes here in the Madison area. It's bringing those foods back, and the reclamation, I think, can't just be very specific to one tribe or even one region. So I've been working with growers. There's Yowela Foods. Dan Cornelius is the farmer there, and he will be providing us Oneida White Hominy, for example. And that's one thing that I can receive from him. He contributes to the tribal elder food boxes too. So he's able to grow production level crops, which is what I need, right? Like I can't just get 5 years of corn. I need to have enough. So those conversations are happening now where I'm reaching out to tribal producers who I know it's not going to take a strain on them if I order a decent amount of things, because I really feel like for me, it is my economic responsibility to take the time to do that, to support the people who are doing the work. And in Madison, in this area, we have some incredible people doing very positive work when it comes to food production, food security, and advocacy. I mean, that's one thing that is amazing about Madison, is that we are invested in it, and we are invested in sustainability and responsible agriculture. So those are the people. Those are my people.
This is music to my ears and music to everyone's ears listening, honestly. I mean, talking about partnerships, can you share a little bit more about why you chose to partner with Momoka and what that uniquely offers for Tallgrass?
Like I said, we had been thinking for years about where we were going to really put our roots down, and this is our kitchen space. And we had been in negotiations with Ho Chunk Nation. We looked at a couple other places, and it seemed like every time I went to the table and I said, this culinary mentorship is important to me. Internship is important to me. Like, I am happy to be the executive chef of this space, but I also need to know that some of these things that I've been working on as far as community building and integrity of the food is maintained. And there was always somewhere in the discussions where I had to compromise, until I came to Momoka. And I was like, by the time I had a meeting here, I was like, look, this is uncompromisable. We have got to have these things. And for the first time in 2+ years, they said this was all assumed. Like, we were just this is why we wanted you here, is to help support the work because it's important. And to have people like from the board say you are absolutely an artist and we're so grateful for you to be in this space, like, that is the narrative that I have not been able to find until I walked into the doors here. So the space, it fit and it was supportive, and that's something, like I mentioned, as a female chef of color, is not always easy to find, somewhere where you are supported, where your mission is also honored along with my capabilities. Like you said, I do check a lot of boxes, but it's because I have invested so much in my craft, and it means a lot to me to make that investment in myself. So yes, I'm like a wild game specialist and a butcher. I like baking. I am a trained chef. Like all of those things I felt very honored in this space with.
That's huge to hear because, Momoka had in recent years had a kind of an ugly thing happen, and it was kind of a shameful time in Momoka's as an institution around a Black woman artist and how she was treated in this space. And it really shook the community because we have such a strong community in Madison. And, obviously former employee there, thinking like, oh no, I want more people of color and more of the community to feel like Momoka is a community space. And since then, I did have an opportunity to talk to the new director, Paul Baker Prindle, on the show, and the reckoning with that, and know all of the work that's gone into conversations behind the scenes of how do we serve our community and bring people in and honor and not fumble wonderful, talented people in the community. And I don't bring it up to stick in the past. I think it just feels really good to hear that you have felt honored in this space that I know in my heart wants to be that for the community.
You hit the nail on the head with that one, is because they did change leadership. And there was a very strong conversation about making sure that, everybody felt honored in this space. And however that ended up happening in the past, all I can say right now is what a beautiful step forward. This leadership has really made sure that that is not the environment that this museum holds. And I think bringing me in and having me help create the space even is like, what an incredible way to honor me as a person. So not being able to speak, I wasn't here with the previous incidents or anything, but I can say that in this moment right now, it's just not the case. It's not the way. And what an eye-opening moment in time for everybody to take a second and realize how their actions can affect people. And I think that, kudos to the museum for doing that and really taking an inventory and deciding that this is, the way that we are moving forward.
And the way you speak with intentionality, I'm giddy about just listening to you talking about how you are anchoring everything that you do in relationships and how we respect one another, relationships to each other as people, relationships to our food, relationships to our ancestors, relationships to our future. It's heartening. It's really exciting. And even the name Tall Grass being a part of ecosystems, it feels fitting for this space as well, because it's such a visual sensory name when you're seeing, the beauty of nature, and having that right up front feels just like a great fit.
Yes. Yeah. And tall grass for me, I mentioned it to my coworkers the other day. I understand and I love, because I'm all about environmental advocacy and making sure that we recognize our ecosystems and biodiversity and all of the good things that we need. But for me, it also is, I am a community builder. It's very important for me in my work to build communities, because I really feel like the only way we can protect and sustain our foodways is through community, being able to talk and have these conversations that maybe I wouldn't want to talk to you about climate change, but if we're sharing a meal, we can talk about it, because all of these things affect, water, the growing, the temperatures, all of these things affect us, and our foods especially. So being able to maybe have some of those intimidating conversations in community, tall grass for me also is that. It's putting roots down and permanency in a space where, I have been a grassroots activist. I pride myself in having stayed in my community and not had to compromise my values and move to a city to do the work that I'm doing, like a larger city. I love Madison is a city, not to
city
to
town,
it's small, but
know.
I love that it's not like Los Angeles, it's
right.
not that kind of a city. I didn't have to displace myself to continue my work. I'm supported in Madison and doing that and part of the community. So for me, also tall grass is you can't get tall grass without strong roots, and you need to be able to plant those somewhere. And so what better place here? I walked up to the Capitol for the State of the Tribes address, and it was I had to take a moment and process my emotions. Wow, I am here doing this work in this amazing building in this incredible space, and ancestrally, it's a very sacred spot of land for us, So to be able to say in today's world, and 2026, I almost said a different number. In 2026, this is something that is not only an option, it is a lucrative plan. Like, this is a really good idea to do this. And yeah, it's exciting. It is. It's still, even now, talking about it is emotional, because it's just not, what a perfect example of like dream until your dreams come true. Like, do everything you can to put these things in motion. And I was very disheartened, 2.5 years plus something like that of looking for a permanent space, but believing that when I knew I would know, like, this is the place for us. So yeah, it's like, what a wonderful way to really put roots down.
And who knows who was working in all of the steps before that set this up, and who's there supporting this. I mean, I have goosebumps. It matters who we support. We support everyone. And to hear that you went through such a challenge to be able to do what you do best, and you've spent so much time building this career. I mean, I do want to ask about, gosh, you have a fascinating path. Like we talked about, the founder of Wild Berries, the nonprofit that's bringing ancestral foods to Native communities. You've partnered with a number of institutions to educate on traditional food practices. You've done the national food shows. Like, how does opening this kitchen in an art museum fit into your vast career?
So I was awarded the Taproot Fellowship from the Alliance for California Traditional Artists this past year, which honored me as, like, it was myself and one other chef, and we were the first ever culinary artists recognized as folk artists and traditional knowledge keepers and contributors to our community. And it couldn't have come at a better time, when I was like, ugh. I think all of us face a moment where we're like, is this right for me? Is this the right job for me? And running a nonprofit that I fund my nonprofit through catering. So we operate on very small micro grants, a couple a year, but primarily on our own revenue. So like, I am funding this nonprofit by catering, and by catering, we were able to have, the program operate, because we can't operate a culinary mentorship if we have nowhere to cook, right? So like those things,
hands-on across the board, yeah.
Being recognized as an artist, it just made me think of myself differently. And to say, like, the value that you put in yourself when you go to work every day, it matters, like, you need to know and to love what you're doing. And I absolutely did in a lot of these spaces. Like, I am the behind the door kitchen. I love being in the kitchen. I understand it. I don't mind the heat. I don't mind the chaos. I love it all. It's like, I thrive in that space. In these other spaces, I didn't always, like I did go to school for philosophy and political science. I have my undergrad in that. And so I feel capable of being an advocate or having these stronger partnerships, but like, I 100% of the time want to be in the kitchen, So I think...
Is it your zone of genius? Not to be corny. Yeah.
I heard something on the radio this morning about flow state, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I just enter flow when I walk into the kitchen, and then 17 hours later, sometimes I can leave and I'm still in I'm like, I did it. Got through that, And I enjoy it. It doesn't get old. I'm not tired of that part of it. The part that's hard is like ordering and calling and talking to people. That's where I'm like, I don't know if I really love my job anymore. But being able to say, like, I am so much more than just this, like everybody is so much more than just one thing, And so for me to really kind of step into a different role for myself also, without having to compromise the things that I love. Like, I love being a butcher. I like to process things. I love competing. Although there's not a lot of Indigenous chefs who will do that or feel the confidence or want to, treat our food that way. For me, it makes me a better person. It makes me a better chef. It challenges me to be a better Elena. And like, did I win on those shows? I wasn't the last person standing, but I sure did win for myself, because like, I did something that for me was intimidating, that challenged me to get out of my comfort zone. Like, I don't see people like myself on TV, and so to be able to do that and to say like, well, maybe I shouldn't have cooked it that longer. I should have left that steak on a little longer. I should have done this or that. But you know what? I had a wonderful time on every show that I've been on, and being able to represent, or even just to say, I don't have to take myself seriously every single day, 24 hours a day, be like, I'm the most serious person in this room. Like I went and I had fun, and I enjoyed myself, and I made lifelong friends in all of those experiences. So like being able to come from tiny little Wisconsin Dells and say like, yeah, I've competed on barbecue brawl. I know Bobby Flay, like, it's just crazy because, like I said, it goes back to that thing, dream and believe in yourself until it comes true, because it does. When you make those investments in yourself, you can achieve anything. Look at me.
Yes. You are the artist we deserve in Madison. You are so fascinating and so smart and grounded. And like, cannot be happier that you're getting a space that you get to be you unbounded, because that is just going to bring the best things and all that you do. It's just really... Oh, this conversation has given me so much life. And as we wrap it up, I want to ask, what can us Madisonians do to support your success and support your community work and all that you will bring with Tallgrass?
Show up, come share a meal with me. I think there's going to be some of the other events that Momoka supports I will be at as well. So there's like the Muse events that happen in the evening, and I got to go to one a couple weeks ago and just see all of the excited people coming into the museum in the evening to kind of experience it in a different way. And I got to experience the museum in a different way by being there in community with everybody. So yeah, come see us, come visit. When the restaurant opens, we want everybody to come in and at least say hi and, welcome us to the space. If you see me on the street or anything, like I am pretty approachable most of the time. But I'm kidding. All kidding aside, come in and share a meal with us, have some conversation, see the museum, celebrate the arts in this space. It's incredible. And I can't wait to have everybody come into my home.
Chef Elena Terry, thank you so much for coming on CityCast Madison. You're one of my favorite people. I just met you.
Thank you so much for having me, Bianca. I really appreciated the conversation.
That's Chef Elena Terry. She is the head chef at the forthcoming restaurant Tallgrass. That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm your host, Bianca Martin. Don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. And if you enjoyed today's show, why not share this episode with someone who loves to show up? And if you're enjoying the podcast, go review and rate us wherever you listen. It helps other folks find us. We appreciate it. Thanks so much, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care, and thanks for listening.